Don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Hi everyone, it's Mike here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I've just got back from taking mum and dad out for an anniversary lunch. Fairly heavy one too. I feel quite stuffed and quite sort of lethargic now and could do with having 40 wings, but I've got too much to do. I also need to get changed and carry on with the decorating of our lounge. We've done the walls, we've done the ceiling, I just have to do all the woodwork now. But before I do any of that, I want to do an art journal page project, but I'm not really sure what to do. So when I'm faced with a situation that I want to create an art journal page, but I don't know what to do, I always do one particular thing. And let me show you what that is. So I'm going to start off in my Dina Wakley multi-surface journal. I'm going to open it up at one of the few remaining kind of cotton rag kind of pages. That's one of those canvas ones which probably will be the last ones to go. And I've pulled out my old spritzer bottles. Now these colours were the ones that I made using pigment powders and water. So I haven't used these in quite some time. So they're probably just going to want a little bit of a re-energize and a little bit of a quick shake up because all the pigment has settled at the bottom. So just give them a real quick shake and then it's all gone again. So it's all mixed back in. So just a quick re-energize for the colour and then we're off to the races. That's it. I'm just going to look at each one just to make sure that we're all firing on all cylinders. Now the orange might take just a little bit longer because I haven't used that for a long time, but there we go. Okay, so orange. So what I'm going to do is I've got my page. I'm not going to put gesso down because I want the paper to soak the colour in. So I just want to grab some kitchen towels. I'll just do a couple of sheets. I'll just do 2 and 2, so I've got decent kind of thickness. I'll just open that last page up, just so it's going off that side, and I'll put another couple just at the top and just at the bottom, just so that I'm not getting coloured spritzer spray everywhere, which is what I normally do. So that should theoretically stop it from getting absolutely everywhere. Alright, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some colours to start off with. So I've got lime green. And I'm just going to randomly spritz over the top. Now don't forget, I haven't really got any real idea of where this art journal page is going to go. So it's going to be a, let's just see what happens. And then once we get a little bit down, a little bit of yellow. These haven't been used for a while. Perhaps I should have cleaned that one. Okay, let's use the orange. There we go. And then we can bring back in a little bit of turquoise. Alright, so it's reacted a bit up there, turned a little bit brown, which is fine. So what I need to do is just dry this off. Some of these colours will dry back a little bit more muted, which is fine by me. That first layer of colour is pretty much dry now, so as you can see it has toned down a little bit while when it dried, so I just want to add a little bit more into the page. Just going to go around again just to kind of revitalise what we put in, just to kind of make it a little bit more deep, more deep, deeper. So we're just going to let those colours soak in a bit and just let a little bit of run, a bit of drippage happen. Just go to town a little bit. A bit more turquoise up there, a bit more bluey there, maybe a bit more blue in this corner, maybe just a tad there. There we go. Looks pretty dark, but as it starts to dry, it'll lighten again. Okay, so I've just lightened the exposure a little bit on the camera, just so that you can see a bit more vibrant. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my stencils. I think we'll use the Confusion one. Yeah, I think we'll use Confusion. And then I'm going to grab a baby wipe, which effectively is wet. Just move those spritzers out of the way. This one's dried a little bit because it's been sticking out of the packet. So I'm just going to add a bit of water to it. There we go, just a bit more. Just to kind of re-energise it. I don't want it too wet, and then again I don't want it too dry, but just moist is perfect. So I'm going to lay the stencil down and I'm going to pop it just over in the corner, and then I'm going to use the ghosting technique. So I'm going to add a little bit of water. Actually, maybe I need a little bit more. That's it. Maybe that was a little bit too dry. And then I'm going to start lifting some of that colour from the page. Now, as I'm dabbing, as you can see, it's starting to affect underneath. Definitely not enough water in there. Definitely not enough. That might be better. Okay, so let's bring some down here. Yeah, might have gone underneath a little bit. Let's just see what happens. We're only trying to create a bit of texture. Okay, so you can see pretty much where that pattern was. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the stencil around and do the same thing again from the bottom. So I'm just going to wet it. And then that might be a little bit too wet actually. There we go. We've gone from not being wet enough to being too wet. All these weird and wonderful strange techniques that you can employ for your art journal pages. So sometimes when you just sit down and create something, even when there's no real point to it, it's not really a pointless art journal page, because the process is what you're aiming for. If you're trying just to sit down and create something, then it's not pointless because you're creating something, even if you're not really sure what you're creating. Does that make sense? Okay, so what else I'm going to do, is I'm going to do just some drips. Just let them sit on the page. Just for a second or two. Let them react to the colour. So they're reacting much quicker and much stronger. And then I'm just going to roll over with the kitchen towels, and you get a completely different effect again. It's a very organic look. Okay, so we've now got a fairly sort of mottled background that looks like bacteria growing on a petri dish. So now that we've got that dark, that lighter colour there, I want to add in some dark colours. So I'm just going to bring in some vintage photo, and let's see if I can find a sponge distress foam pad thing. Yeah, that'll do. Vintage photo, and then let's just have a look at one of my other stencils, see what else we've got. So some of these are patterns that I haven't released just yet. Yep, I think we'll try this one. This is probably going to be the next one that I release. So you're getting a sneak peek of this one tonight. So I've called this one Spinners, because it's like one of those fidget spinners. But if you look at it as well, it's also a round, almost like a snowflake, but not snowflake. Yeah, I know. It's one of those kind of strange ones. So I'm going to drop that down. Let's add a little bit of patterning, just with a bit of darkness in the background. There we go. Just kind of creating a little bit of a frame. That sounds like a Mr. Ian and Mr. Bentley coming back from their WALKs. Bentley's had a lovely time today visiting his grandma and granddad. Obviously we took him with us when we went out for our lunch to our carvery. Yeah, I'm liking that. Liking that pattern. It's quite a striking one, isn't it? So that one's going to be called Spinner. So watch out for the website, because that will be coming soon as a release for probably beginning of June. Okay, so that's the page. So my main focal point that I want to add on when I don't know what I'm doing and I'm just doing for the sake of doing, I normally like to add in a photograph of myself. So there you go. There's a scary photo. So let's just grab some scissors. And I've just literally taken it with my phone, just printed it off really, really quickly. No real kind of thought for posing. I just tried to look a little bit weird, I suppose. Hello, Mr. Ian. Has he been a good boy in his walk? No, it is rather warm today. It's one of those. Really? Yeah. You didn't want to say hello to Wendy? No. That is definitely strange. Wendy's one of his pals. She's an older lady. She must be in her late 70s, early 80s. And she always stops and says hello to him. Gives him a fuss. Whenever he sees her, he always backs at her to say hello. We see her nearly every morning. I don't know where she goes every day, but she always seems to walk. She walks miles. You see her all over the area. She's probably just one of these stuck in the house all day, bless her. I don't even know whether she's got a husband or a partner or anything. You only ever see her on her own. So we always make a point of stopping and saying hello, because you just never know whether you're the only person that she actually speaks to during that day. Anyway, right, so that is going to go down there, I think. Now I'm going to use a spirit-based glue rather than a water-based glue, mainly because everything on this page here is water-based. If I add like matte medium or whatever over the top of that, it's going to start moving the colour. So I'm going to use a spirit-based glue instead, which is always a good idea to have more than one type of glue in your arsenal, in your cache of weapons, art journaling weapons of choice. Okay, that should do it. And also it doesn't make the paper go crinkly. So let's drop that down about there. I'm leaving a bit of a border at the bottom. And also, some people think, or have commented in the past, that they don't like using photographs of themselves in their art journal page because they think it's a bit egotistical. Well, what I say is this: art journaling is a personal pursuit, so it can't be egotistical. You do it for yourself, not for anybody else. So using photos of yourself is perfectly acceptable. Okay, so we've got that. So let's grab that spinner stencil again, and let's add some more of that colour down here just to kind of tie it all in. Of course, that's just moved on me, hasn't it? So we've got it there, and we'll have a little bit down here too. Just kind of grounds it all together. Okay, so quote. I did have a paper quote somewhere, and of course, there it is. Let's add some splatters first. Let's add some white splatters. Okay, I've got some white acrylic paint. Just put a little daub down there. That paintbrush will do. Water. Just a couple. Now, whenever you do this, whenever you're making splatters onto a paint where you've got plenty of plenty of water-based background, it will react. Not enough water. That brush has just sucked all the paint and the moisture into the bristles. Like a hungry Horace. Alright. Crikey. It really don't want to give me much, does it? Have I got another brush? Fan brush. There we go. Let's see what happens there. Nice long-handled one. Oh, it's better. Now you can see how immediately the colour's disappearing. In some areas, the colour is just grabbing and soaking in. Not really soaking in, but it's being absorbed because it's a water-based product. A bit more. So we may have to just add in a little bit more pigment to make it stand out a bit. That might be a bit better. Okay, so we'll get this dried off and we'll see what eventually stays where it's supposed to and what doesn't. So clean that brush in a moment. And just give that a wipe. There we go. Let's get it all dry. Those white splatters have now dried, so some of that now is sitting on the surface, which means that they're standing out a little bit more. So, time to add a little quote. I've got some more of that spirit-based glue in a fine point applicator bottle here. So I've printed off my quote onto some paper, just on my home printer. I'm just going to add a little bit of the glue onto the back. Just a bit more accurate than daubing it on with the big one. And I'll just lay that down. So this quote is inspired by the Dusty Springfield song. That's the one I want. Have a look. I'm going to place this down at the bottom just to break up that kind of bottom line. And it kind of forces the eye to move around the page too. I've left double spaces and things in between the words just to kind of break it up. Okay, so I'll give that a minute or two just to kind of gel, and then I'll be back to do some more embellishments. Okay, so that's had a few minutes now just to kind of set and dry, so that's grabbed. I've just got a gel pen. So this is a Uniball gel pen, soft grip, Mitsubishi Pencil Company. There's no kind of nib size or anything, so all I'm going to do is just go around now, just make those word blocks pop a little. So it's a kind of real return back to original kind of art journal tropes, if you like, almost art journal cliches. And I'm just going to turn that round. I think sometimes, because when we do these kind of things, we do them quite a lot, we sometimes think, you know, do you know what, I've done that to death. But sometimes, you know, going back to the basics is a real great way of A, re-energising when you've kind of lost your mojo, or you're not really sure what you want to do. Just go back to basics and start again. So what I'm going to do up here now is I'm going to create, I'm only going to go from the top, I'm not going to take it down to the bottom, so I'm just going to go around my shoulders, just make that pop a little bit, and then we'll go up and around the old moustache, glasses, the hair, just kind of make it all pop. And it's just a way of blending everything together. So let's even come around there. Around the old beard, around the neck of the t-shirt. You can even just come in over the ear a little bit, just to kind of make it pop a little bit from that background. And then just to finish off, I'm going to do a scribbly kind of border just to frame everything together. come down this way first. And you don't have to be fantastic at drawing to do anything, really. You just create your own doodles, your own way of doing it. I like to create this kind of faux, like stitched effect around the outside of my borders. But you can do anything. You can do dots, you can do doodles, you can do flowers, all that kind of thing. And then sometimes I even come in and do some black doodle dots just to kind of tie everything together. It really is up to you how far you want to go, how much you want to add. You could get a stamp. In fact, I've got a stamp as well. Let's just have a quick look. Have I got one of my skinny minis to hand? They're right there in front of me amongst the miasma on my desk. Detritus. Okay. So that's got silver ink on it. So that must have been Christmas time maybe. That's fine. Right, so let's just ink that up. And then you can just start adding in, yeah, just a little bit of stampy detail if you want to. A bit there, maybe there, maybe there. Try to make sure I got the letters the right way up. The letters, the numbers, the characters. No, see, they're upside down. But that doesn't matter. If it don't matter, then embrace it. Deliberately do it the other way around. Maybe just do a little bit. Let's see. That seems to be the top. And just lightly add a bit at the bottom. There we go. So we've done some stamping, we've done splatters, we've done spritzing, we've got collage, we've got even more splatters, doodle dots. Yeah, I don't think I could do any more on that if I tried. So there you go. So even though I wasn't really sure where I was going with this page, I've still created something, and that's the point. Even when you don't know what you're going to do or don't know what to do, at least I've sat down and created something. So that's it for now. I think, I haven't signed it and dated it, have I? So let's just go up the side here. What date is it today? 17th. There we go, all signed, all dated. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me put this art journal page together, even though I didn't know what the heck I was doing. If you did, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.